For today's calculus problem of the day, we're just going to find this derivative. Now, just like last problem, we are still allowed to split the numerator of this function up. But you'll notice that if we do that, none of these three fractions that we're left with simplify at all. We're still left with a quotient of two functions. So we're going to forget this idea, and we're just going to have to accept the fact that this function is just a quotient of two functions. Fortunately, when trying to find the derivative of a quotient of two functions, we can use the quotient rule. If we have a function f in the numerator and g in the denominator, the shorthand for that derivative looks just like this. I have heard some students read this as low d high minus high d low all over the square of what's below. Let's use this rule to find the derivative of our function. To do this, we're going to start by copying down the denominator. Then we're going to multiply that by the derivative of our numerator. I'll use this shorthand notation for that. Then we're going to subtract. We're going to copy down our numerator. We're going to multiply that by the derivative of our denominator. And then we're going to divide this whole result by the square of our denominator. Again, that's low d high minus high d low all over the square of what's below. In our next step, I'm going to take this derivative and this derivative. The derivative of 3x squared is 6x. I use the power rule for that. The derivative of 5x is 5. And the derivative of 4 is 0. And over here, the derivative of 5x is 5. And the derivative of 7 is 0. I'm going to zoom out and make just a little bit more room here. My next step is going to be distributing what's in the numerator. I'm going to FOIL these two binomials. And I'm going to distribute this 5 through the parentheses. Now we can combine some like terms. We have a 30x squared minus 15x squared. We have a negative 25x plus 42x plus 25x. And we have a negative 35 minus 20. Now, if we could factor this numerator, we might do that to see if we might get some cancellations. However, I don't think that this numerator factors, so that means that this is going to be our final answer. Cool, I hope that helps you out with the quotient rule. For tomorrow's problem of the day, we'll be using the product rule. I'll see you there.